It's Friday, the 19th of February 2016. My name is Chris Ellis, and I'm coming to you with another Bitcoin Fullnode update. Bitcoin Fullnodes look like this. They're little Raspberry Pi 2s with full copy of the blockchain. And if you've been following us over the last few days, we hit a little snag. We were going well, and then suddenly Ollie wasn't able to load up the latest image that I'd been working on with the latest version of Bitcoin. And as a result, I got on a train and I actually physically went to him because we were sharing things on BitTorrent to see if I could resolve the issue. Anyway, after a lot of faffing around and bug fixing as you do, we eventually got Ollie with the latest version of Bitcoin, Bitcoin 12 RC5, release candidate 5. So before we get started with Ollie, because Ollie's just getting prepared to maybe show us a little bit of Peter Todd's Python library running on the Pi, I wanted to introduce some updates that have been going on the repo. You can reach the Fullnode Bitcoin Fullnode repo at fullnode.protip.is, or just come to my repo, my GitHub itself, Mr. Chris J/fullnode, and we can see that Magnus, Ralph the Ninja, he has been posting some suggestions of creating automated bash scripts, which basically would allow you in the future, if you want to install Bitcoin without having to go through all the steps, you would simply be able to run this script, which would do it all for you. So you wouldn't have to do it. And one of the things that I've asked for is the ability to be able to choose like which branch of the code that you want, maybe which fork, like do you want to be able to download the classic fork, or you want to download the unlimited version of Bitcoin. So that's something that Ralph the Ninja is working on. We've also had some contributions from Steve Douglas, or Open Provenance, and something that he's working on with Ollie. And Ollie has been actually contributing code, real code, to this project using Peter Todd's Python library. And so some instructions are here, and so you can come over here and see that this is issue number 14, and what we'll do is we'll merge them all into the repo once we're done. I've also been working on new scripts as well, which I can show you later on in this episode. Basically, I have in the other room, because it makes a bit of a noise with the fan, I've got the latest version of Raspberry and Jessie that is running nothing but the Bitcoin, no wallet, no GUI, no nothing. So let me just show you that in the terminal. It's incredibly fast. So this is it. Since 8 o'clock this morning, we're now up to about 2013. To block 244,000 is probably late 2013. And we do it like a get info. And so the advantage of Jessie Lite over the regular Raspberry and Jessie operating system is that it doesn't come with any user interface. You've got no desktop or anything. So when we compile Bitcoin for Jessie Lite, we're only compiling it for command line only. There's no wallet, and there's no Qt client. There's no graphical user interface for us to be able to get to grips with. And what that means is that if all you want to do is relay blocks across the network, and you know, maybe you just want to do it over Tor, or you want to just be able to contribute to the network in some way, then Jessie Lite is the route for you, because it's much more quick, it's much faster, much more efficient. So we've got a new Jessie Lite image coming out. It also looks like, looking by the news on Bitcoin, actually, let me just get this link up here so I can show you the tutorial, and I'll also post, right after this is finished, I'll also post up links to all of this. So this is the new instructions for downloading Jessie. The latest version of Jessie came out about 10 days ago. So we've updated all of the dependencies. We've updated some improvements, increasing the swap file size to make it much faster to install. And obviously you can see that this includes branch 12. And then I've also made, in preparation, this hasn't been committed yet to the main branch, But I've also included instructions on how to get Jesse Lite working. So if you just want to set up a light Bitcoin node, you don't want a wallet, you don't want any of that, so you disable wallet, then this will just give you a really nice, simple Bitcoin node that will just relay transactions and nothing else. Now we can see from the commit history, this is the public link to the Bitcoin Core Slack channel, hashtag community activity, and you can see the commits are going through here. We can also see, this is the, here we go. You can see that basically the updates that are being made now are like on to do with the release notes. So probably what this signals is that we're getting very close now. Looks like release candidate 5 will be the final release candidate, that there probably won't be any more updates to be made. I'm really happy with this version of Bitcoin Core as it relates to the Fullnode, because it's running really, really efficiently. And we no longer have the dreaded activate best chain error. The only time we're seeing the activate best chain error is on the testnet. We're not getting it on the mainnet. So that's slightly a problem for Ollie, because Ollie's working with Steve on the testnet to do with the open provenance stuff. So Ollie, talk to us. Tell us what you're up to.
Okay. Yeah, because I need to install the Peter Todd library, but what else I had to do was, had to do the thing with the root with root. I couldn't actually extract files without root. So what I'm gonna have to do now is I'll start all over again fresh. I've already done everything, but I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Again.
Okay. So just remember to breathe between each sentence. Just nice and slow. Otherwise,
Okay.
bottom right-hand corner of this video, you can slow it down to 50%, and Ollie's like at normal speed.
Yeah.
So take it away.
I actually did that yesterday. Actually.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? You watched yourself back at half speed.
Yeah, I watched that back, and I watched it forward at very very fast. Okay, so I'm gonna do the advanced IP scanner. I mean, I don't have to because I know my IP, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. It'll just come up the IP. I don't actually have to bother to do it. I know it.
Okay, so yeah, you know the IP address is 0.3. So.
And then pi and then password is raspberry.
That's not good OPSEC, but okay.
Very. Yeah, but it's gonna be.
Terrible OPSEC.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So I'm gonna run the VNC server.
Okay.
VNC server. In the last video, if you didn't know how to install it, there was links and all that in the last video we did.
Yeah, we've got all that.
Yeah,
we've got all that.
So it's already running for some reason. Oh, because I need to. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to sudo reboot. Actually, I might be able to. I'm not sure. I'll just run it.
Yeah, try it anyway. Try it anyway.
No, because I'll sign in anyway, because I signed in as root last time, so it might come up as root. But then I did reboot again, so I don't know what's wrong. Here we go, pi. Okay, yeah, so I don't have to. Okay, so as to install, so I'm going to go to the browser. I've already got them. So we got Bitcoin Python library for the actual library that came out before everything else, the actual first one. So the first one we're going to install is the GitHub Peter Todd library. There's two libraries actually, I don't know why. Because there's two libraries you kind of had to install. Okay, so the Peter Todd library. So basically, shall I install it again?
Yeah. Why not? Show us how you install it, or at least take us through the motions.
Yeah,
because we need to document all this, you see.
Okay, so once you install it, you go to File.
But wait, how do they How do they install it? Do they simply download the zip file, or do they do a
GitHub page,
clone, or
and download zip file? Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There, that little button there, because mine's really small. I changed because the pixel is 850. Okay, so we have the zip file here. I'm talking really slowly. It's really annoying though. I'm going to extract it to the desktop, but I don't actually have to extract it at all, because I could just sign in as root and extract it from there, because nothing I can do within Pi. So I'm not going to extract it here at the moment. I'm going to sign back in as root.
Okay, and can you just go slowly? Ollie, can you just very slowly explain to us why do you need to be root in order to extract files?
Oh, the reason needs to be, I don't know, because it just says as an error that you get. Do we just try and just do it and show you the error?
Yeah, yeah. Let's have a look
Okay,
at the error.
okay. It's not really an error. It just says you may not be authorized to extract this file from root, no, from Pi. So I'm going to extract it. Then here it is here. No, it's not. Where is it? Oh, I'll just put ls and set the CD into desktop. Actually, I know why, because I've already got it. It's just, no, it's yeah, this one here, the Python Bitcoin library. CD into the Python Bitcoin library. ls. Okay, so here's the set up .py file. So what you're meant to do in this is actually won't work because of Sue and root. I'm actually going to show you everything because you have to actually change the password for root unless you already know it and you've already changed it. But let's do Python setup Pi and install. Okay, so let's see where it comes. There we go. It says running install. We get an error here saying error permission denied for 2.7. Write test. Perhaps your account does not have write access to this directory. If the installation directory is a system-owned directory, you may need to sign in as the administrator or root account. That's what I meant the error why.
All right, but can't you just do a sudo before the Python command? Does that not work? Or
I don't know. I've never tried that actually. I never
try
actually
try
tried
try
with root.
sudo and just see if that works.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there you
Actually,
go.
never had
Yeah,
to sign in as root.
there
Oh
you go.
yeah, because sudo means like, you know, I know what
Substitute
it means.
user. Yeah.
I've used it. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Okay,
great.
so okay, so now all I got to do is sign back in as desktop. Okay, no, I'm going to show you how to install the other library.
Now, what's the
Okay,
other library? What's
other,
this other one?
I'll show you really explain. The other library is the actual beginning one, the first ever one that came out, I think. The first ever Bitcoin library. And it's because I don't know when Peter Todd may have like rewrote it or something. He changed the Bitcoin. Maybe there's another library, an RPC. It's an RPC library which is used for some code. I'm not sure. I've never really done much with the library at the moment. So I think it's this one. No, it's this one. Yeah, extract it. I never actually. No, it doesn't highlight it, so it's kind of annoying. All files, and then extract it to the desktop. Open, extract. Oh yeah, I don't know what it's at. An output. Oh, because I've already got it as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because I
because
got
you've
already
already
got
got
it.
it on there. Yeah.
Okay, so go into my desktop. Go into CD, and then Bitcoin. I don't know why I'm extracting it again because I've already got it. I don't mind. I'll do it anyway. 0.3 ls and sudo. You know I can just rewrite this one because it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. Okay, it's running. Okay, it's installed now. So you didn't actually have to wait. You didn't have to install sign in as root. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
So let's go back to. Actually, should we load up the Bitcoin QT?
Yeah, we can. Well, do you need hang on, do you need the actual daemon running? Does it work with Qt or does it? I think it needs the daemon, doesn't it? So you need to do Bitcoin
What do you
D
mean? I can
dash
just type
D.
in Bitcoin QT and it
Okay.
starts up.
Yeah.
Define wallet. I might. Yeah, I might. I'm gonna have to. And I'll show you the right stuff in a minute. I didn't actually write this code though, so I don't know how to. We should either write the code, wouldn't it? Bitcoin, the Peter Todd stuff for Steve. But I did look over the code and
No,
do some stuff with it.
you sent Steve some code, didn't you?
Nothing to do with Peter Todd though.
No, but you're using his library.
Yeah,
Is that
I am because Steve wrote the first bit, and I'm gonna edit it. The code that he sent to me, like the send and receive and all that stuff.
okay?
So I've actually got it up here, like the Peter. I got Peter.py for some reason. This is the this is for checking your balance, your Bitcoin wallet.
Okay.
So I'll get balance to my proxy, which is my proxy is an RPC proxy. So you put in and you equal that. You can equal that to anything, and then balance equals to my proxy dot get balance. Then you have a print, and you have to put the slash. Because remember, he in a live stream, I think he tried putting plus, but then that's only for 2.7. Actually, no, it's for 3.4. That's just plus is 3.4, I think, or 2.7. It's one of them. And then he had to put these instead because it's in Satoshis for some reason. I don't know why it's in Satoshis. Why is it in
What's
Satoshis?
the lowest common denominator?
I knew that, but I don't know why he has it in Satoshis. Activating best chain.
Ah, so we're back to that old bug again.
Maybe it could be to do with I might not have took testnet out. Oh no, of course I have.
No,
I
it's not
have.
testnet. It's orange. I thought that bug had gone. Thought we got rid of
Had.
it once and for all. We had got rid of it, and now it's back again.
Okay, it will load up though.
Let's hope so.
At least we're not getting that error saying the other one when the Bitcoin clean and all that. Maybe should I restart me?
No, just leave it and leave it for a few minutes. It'll be really, really annoying if the activate best chain has come back in as a bug, because it will take so much longer to.
It is 2.12 though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but there may be a reason why it's come back in.
Yeah, maybe because we added testing, maybe. Probably not though.
I can ask in the IRC channel.
Pardon?
I can ask in the IRC, in the Bitcoin IRC channel.
When now?
Yeah, I'm in there now.
In the meantime, the chat wants to know how you're feeling, Chris.
Feeling sedated because I'm back on the sedatives. Unfortunately, the pain was getting too much, and so yeah, those painkillers I was taking weren't working. The tinnitus was just getting louder, so I had to go back. Thank you for asking. Appreciate that. And it also looks like I might have to move out of here soon, which means relocating. So that's going to be fun. But I will do this from the streets if I have to. I don't care. I will do it from a tent. I will find a way.
That's cool, a tent.
Yeah, marquee. There was actually a hospital in Sierra Leone that reached out to me today, who were raising money for the Ebola, and I've been doing some due diligence. I'll bring them up on screen whilst we're waiting for Bitcoin to fire up.
Okay.
And so far it looks perfectly legit. I obviously have to check. Obviously we get inbound, lots of people sort of asking for help and raising money and so forth. But these guys do look legit. They had an article in Coinbase, and there was CoinDesk, and a couple of other places. Their Bitcoin address has already raised quite a bit of money already, about £4,000. So yeah, you can see that they've had a pro tip donation there. And so I'm going to be helping out Mustafa, who's kind of working there. He sent me his registration certificate and all that kind of stuff. So what with Alakanani and Botswana as well, I thought it would be good to try and help out as many people as possible. And also today I went to see Brett Scott give his presentation. He wasn't feeling very well, unfortunately, but he was giving a presentation in central London on his paper about the potential of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for so-called solidarity movements. I forget the actual terminology now. Let's have a look. It is how can cryptocurrency and blockchain technology play a role in building social and solidarity finance? It's a very wordy title, and I did sort of just for the lol, Sharneen, I did ask him if there was a Marxist interpretation of what's happened with Bitcoin, with the workers, the proletariat, the engineers. Oh, it's loaded up already, has it?
Yeah.
That's great. Just in time for my Marxist rant. Can I just do my Marxist rant first? So yeah. I said to heckling somewhat, I said to Brett, Like you've drawn this axis, you know, between the libertarian conservatives and the socialist libertarians, and I'm wondering if that was the right axis. So is this not a non sequitur? Like, there's another axis of like, we could tell a story about how this is really just a story about Marxist alienation, right? So you've got the proletariat, the coders, the engineers, working for this managerial class in high finance, constantly being told to, like, you know, do things in the code, you know, working on the banking software that go against their core instincts as engineers, right? They're being told to break the code. And so by the year 2000, everything you need, all these tools that we now use in Bitcoin are extant, right? You've got the hash cash with proof of work, you've got the peer-to-peer peer discovery with Napster, you've got the public key infrastructure from the 90s and the RSA from the 70s, you've got Merkle roots from the late 70s. So you've got pretty much all the components. It takes us 9 years to bring Bitcoin into the public discourse, but all of these technologies already existed. And I said, is this not, you know, a Marxist form of alienation where these engineers are basically downing their tools, withdrawing their labor, and then going out and just doing it for themselves and creating this kind of open source commune of this, you know, anarchistic kind of regime? And so he's all like, well, you know, I wrote the paper in 7 days, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, I suppose you could say like this and that about it, but it's all very nuanced and technical. And I'm like, yeah, but let's have that nuanced and technical debate. I don't think we should shy away from it. But anyway, take nothing away from the guy. He is one of the most prolific academics in the space. And one of the things I love about Brett, even though I might disagree with his politics and the left-leaning ways that he has, take nothing away from him. He is very, very diligent. He works very hard. He could just easily just sell out and become a consultant, just, you know, but he's not, you know. And so I think credit to him. He's a very good researcher. So I just wanted to say that I did meet him this evening. He was feeling under the weather. I will be speaking to him again. Just the last bit I'd like to say is, like, he basically called the Bitcoin developers like an autocracy, and I was like, my problem with that, Brett, is that like Vladimir never asked for power, right? Vladimir is like Cleisthenes, Satoshi is like Solon, and basically what we've ended up with Vladimir van der Laan is like a nice aristocrat. He's like Cleisthenes, a nice guy. Like, our city is under siege by the Spartans, and they're threatening to like overrule us, and we've had all, like, you know, this good stuff, and now it's being promised to take away from us. And what's happening is the mob wants to bring Cleisthenes back into the city so that he can finish Solon's reforms and institute democracy. That's the ancient Greek history. And he was sort of, you know, laughing at the analogy, and I think he kind of got what I was trying to say. But it's not that Vlad isn't an autocrat in the technical sense of the term, in that he has automatic power. It's just that the better way of describing it is an aristocrat. He didn't ask for the power. He was given to it by Gavin Andresen, and Gavin Andresen was given to it by Satoshi. It was unavoidable. The difference between him and Bitcoin Classic and the other forks is that they seek power, and I'm naturally skeptical of anyone who wants to be in power. If somebody wants to be in power, my instinct is to ask why, whereas Vladimir actually is on the record as not really wanting the power. He was kind of like fighting against it. So anyway, enough of that rant. Ollie, where are you?
One more thing, when you said some people that want power, they shouldn't get it then, as well.
Yeah, if somebody wants power, I want to know why. I want to know a good reason. I want to hear them.
Yeah, it depends what it's for.
Yeah, it depends what it's for, exactly. So,
did he literally say Vladimir was an autocrat, or?
Well, no, he was talking about the developers per se. He was saying, like, the Bitcoin engineers, which almost now pretty much includes me now because of these Fullnodes and the pro tip and so on. So I'm part of that aristocracy. I'm part of that autocracy because I'm not elected. But just because you're not elected doesn't mean you're not legitimate. Doesn't mean you're not the right person to do the job.
Yeah,
sometimes, you know,
you could call like any business person an autocrat then, because they're giving you a service that you want. Is that what his definition of an autocrat? Because people can opt out of the Bitcoin system anytime. They can leave the network. Unlike in an autocracy, you usually can't leave the network.
Okay, now but the thing is, Charlene, you're very intelligent. That's why I love you. But the thing is that most people don't think that way. So yes, you're right. Bitcoin is a voluntary opt-in system. It's not a national-based currency, and so it's not as if you can't leave. I guess that some Bitcoiners would argue, well, thing is, I've invested so much of my life and my career into it. You know, Coinbase would argue we've sunk a huge amount of money into this infrastructure, only for it to be, you know, kind of taken down this puritanical route or whatever their argument. I'm not sure that's their argument, but they're saying like the Bitcoin developers are like small block people and they don't want to scale Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin developers are like, no, 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 we're keeping this pure. We want to scale it in the right way, and we don't want to rush it. My view is that Coinbase should just create their own coin. See, when they say like, you know, what's it a coup over? If they're not, you know, an autocracy, they've got nothing to worry about. Well, that's not really that's a very disingenuous thing to say. Why? Because what Coinbase and et al. Really want is they want the hash rate. They want the brand. Bitcoin is a brand. It's a very powerful brand, and it's got a lot of support, and it's got a lot of hashing power behind it. So it's not just the code that they want to be able to control, at least for a limited amount of time whilst they put in the changes, the scaling changes they want to put in. It's also the fact that they want the hash rate, the network effects, all of these things. And the problem is that we now have open source and network effects combined. So anyway, that was the gist of the discussion with Brett, and I look forward to having more discussions with him. I'd love to even write a paper with him because he's a really smart guy. Ollie, where are you at, man?
Okay, the 7 days thing hasn't gone back back down, so it's going to be quite annoying.
No, that's to be expected. I mean, you've not been connected for 7 days, so that's just the thing. If you go to help, go to help, and then go to debug window. Yeah. Okay, and so you're up to 397,919. Okay, so you've got about 2,000 blocks to go. 2,000 blocks until you're synced.
How long's one block? Oh.
It's about 1 megabyte a block, remember? So yeah, we could be here sometime. But is there anything you can do, like show balance and stuff like that, or?
Well, I'm not sure because of the everything. But okay, I have a look on the. I got it installed now, so all I need to do is go back into idle.
Yeah, let's just take a look through some of it.
It's not much really. It's not much code on it really. I don't know, but there's only 2 things that he's written. So you've got the Peter live. You want to see it? I don't think. Okay, so I might just do screen share for the whole thing. I'm not sure. I don't know the code, so I'm gonna have to get it off from the idle thing I've written down already. So I don't know where I should put it. Okay, let's import Bitcoin.
Okay, so you're in the Python IDE.
Yeah. Next thing is import the. Actually, I might have to put it up at the top. Actually, import Bitcoin RPC.
Okay, so you're importing some libraries. These are the libraries that you just downloaded from the Git repo.
One of them are from the Bitcoin one is from both of them because they both work, and the Bitcoin RPC one is from the other one, the other one I installed. The
old one, yeah. And so it's important to point out that when you were installing them earlier with you, and you did the sudo command and Python setup py, what that was doing was it was actually putting all the files into certain places on the operating system, so that when you do import Bitcoin, it knows where to find all of that. So now you're writing a Python script in the integrated development environment, or IDE for short, and you are now about to import those libraries that you've just installed from the GitHub, and you're going to run like a command that's going to show us something. We could do something interesting.
The balance.
Yeah, the balance, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what it says the balance is, given that it hasn't updated yet. So it probably should show us 0. I've sent you some Bitcoins now, but that's going to take 2,000 blocks for us to register it.
Yeah. I only some print stuff now. It's only 2 print commands, and I memorise them. Oh, your balance is. I might write some if statements here in it. Not now, but I will one day. Yeah, I forgot. I don't know. Yeah, I know what it is, but oh, your balance is Satoshi's. Oh, I get it. I know what you mean. Like that. And next thing is. You don't really have to have this, but yeah, thank you for your Bitcoin. Does it say? Thank you for using Bitcoin. That was a bit weird. Have a nice day. Oh no, I'm making this full screen just in case anyone might not be able to see it or something. And exit the exit command. And save it. The reason basically with this get it balance thing, it wouldn't work because it hasn't saved it, so it doesn't know what it is in a moment. So let's go to the desktop. I'm going to save it on my desktop as balance.py. Actually, will it run? Because I haven't. Oh yeah, maybe I have to do that. I know what I might have to do. I haven't. Where is it going? It doesn't actually know where it's going to get it from. Actually, where is it know it's going to get it from? We need to import something else. Bitcoin dot. I'm not sure if he did actually put comments for this. I'm not sure if he wanted to market it out or just did it randomly. I'm not sure. Select params. No, but I don't know what I put in now because it's test. It was testnet before, so what does be just Bitcoin and Bitcoin? Chris.
Well, just looking through his README now.
It says testnet.
Bitcoin.core, Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin.core, I guess. I don't see anything for like testnet though.
I'm not sure if that would really make a difference, but I've run it anyway. That might be an error for that, and I'll delete it. Okay, some quick balance.
Wait, so do the it's got import Bitcoin, and then it's got Bitcoin select params name, and where name is testnet, mainnet, or regnet. So I'll just paste that in for you.
Basically, I'll screen share because
are you still getting the client error?
No, that's no.
The get info one?
No, that's all good. That's all good now.
This is where I was getting the code from.
So you need to import Bitcoin and then Bitcoin
Yeah,
select, and then you need to put mainnet in there. So
yeah, here's mine. Instead of it's just running now. Hope it's running.
Before you were using the testnet with Steve.
I got an error for Bitcoin. Yeah, I got an error for the Bitcoin dot select params.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
I'll just get rid of that. That was marked out actually. That was marked out actually, so maybe I'd run that normally. Okay, it's meant to take a little bit, but I don't. It says the name you put in. You put name in the top right hand corner, the bottom right.
Yeah, well, instead of name, you put in mainnet.
What?
Instead of name, you have to put in mainnet. So it's import Bitcoin, select params, and then in brackets you put mainnet.
Did you see that? Yeah, I did get an error because it's just a balance. Okay, I get it now. Okay, so mainnet. Okay, so where would that be? Bitcoin dot select. I've got my face on. Okay. Share screen. So, yeah, what was it?
Mainnet.
Main,
So in brackets,
what,
you need to
capital
put
M or?
mainnet. What's that?
Yeah.
Lowercase, all
Capital M or not?
lowercase. Lowercase, all lowercase.
I don't know what it will say now though. Maybe whatever you sent me, or
Well,
0.
just try it and see what it says.
Okay, it
What's it saying?
didn't do anything.
Uh,
Oh, there we go. Your balance is 0.
okay, great, perfect. So we know it's
Haha.
working at
Your
least.
balance is 0.
Well, at least we know it's working.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've
So
sent
now we
you
need the
some
ones.
coins. I've sent you some coins, but obviously that's going to take a
So
while for it to sync. So, but we know now it's working. So we've got you working. We've documented you getting the Python library up and running. Might be also good to show people what your
it's at
Bitcoin address
600.
is. So that's, yeah, it's going to take a while. What we can do, Ollie, is we can do this again tomorrow.
Put it in description maybe.
Yeah, you can sync it overnight, and then tomorrow we can do a video. Yeah, that's Ollie's Bitcoin address. So if you want to tip him, you can pause this video and you can send him some Bitcoins, and then tomorrow we can do a video and we can show more things with the library and what you can do. And then the idea is that we can actually send these full nodes out with the Bitcoin Python library, because one of the things that we've noticed using Peter Todd's library is that it's very fast. It accesses the blockchain very quickly, much quicker than the command line interface.
Especially a new update, it's quite good as well.
Yeah, so that's really good. And the other thing that we were working on today, Ollie, was the ability to be able to ping your full node remotely when you're out and about. So we found some software called NoIP, which allows so people will be able to access their full node from when they're out, and then possibly use their full node to broadcast their transactions. Yeah.
Do a video
so
on that
what?
one,
Yeah, we can do a video on that for sure. We're going to do a video on, I want to document all of this as we're working on it, because I want it to be a live development environment. That's going to attract other experts, because other people are going to come in and they're going to say, oh, I know a better way of doing this. And if Peter Todd's watching this, thanks a lot. Really appreciate you spending the time to do that. And it would be great to get him on the show as well, and maybe he can talk to you and show you some of the things, and maybe you can contribute to the library. You know, that would be the ultimate goal, right? Is you contribute to his library.
We both do programming.
Yeah. So that's I think is what the goal is, because one of the things that we're realizing about some of these places like Sierra Leone and Botswana is the cost for 15 megabytes is about $3, right? So that when they buy internet in these regions, they have to buy prepaid cards, and it costs them like on average $100 a month to have continuous internet access, the same way that we do here in England. So it's a lot more expensive in places like Botswana and Sierra Leone, because they have to buy these prepaid cards. So a Skype call or a video call like this, we take it for granted here in the West, but in these countries it's like, they don't. Alakanani was on air with us for like 1 hour, and then our internet cut out. And that was a private Skype call, actually. It wasn't even on air. It was like a private Skype call, and then the next day her bandwidth had run out. So we need to problem solve this, because we can't rely on these companies like Coinbase to do this for us, in my opinion, because they're going to roll in and they've got their business models and they've got their sunk costs, and so they've got like acquisition, they need to like get onboard users. But why would they help out people that are, impoverished? Well, there's no incentive, because they've got no money. So, if they take like 1% of, nothing, it's still nothing, right? Whereas you and I, we're motivated for different reasons. You're motivated because you want to learn to code, you want to build a reputation, maybe you're going to get some donations. I'm motivated because I want to change the planet, and I want to free all the people. And and so do you, and so does Janine. And so we're motivated to help other people because we think it's a humane thing to do. It's non-aggressive, it's voluntary, it's peaceful, and I don't want to live in a world where violence is like maximal, where we're always like doing things to hinder one another. So the work that we're doing, although it's scrappy and it's messy and it's very guerrilla, that's just how I like it. This is how real innovation is made, not by doing, you know, articles and press releases and all of this fancy stuff with millions of dollars. It's about grassroots, on the ground, peer-to-peer, one person to another person anywhere in the world, just saying, I've got the ability to help you, I can write some code, you have very limited internet access, but we can give you an API that runs on these nodes, and somebody with better internet connection can lease out their full node to you, and you can use it to broadcast your transactions. And so these kinds of models help to build up these mesh networks. Because imagine if a region got sectioned off from the internet, like let's say something broke out, you know, it's happened before in places like Libya, and the internet gets cut off. It's important that so long as someone's got the internet, they can act as a relay station for other people. And so the government might be able to lock down a certain members of the population, but if you have a mesh network, it only takes one member of that community to be a gateway to the rest of the internet, and then you can start broadcasting your transactions or start receiving the donations that are coming into you. And so these little computers, it's all about self-reliance and autonomy. It's about giving you, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, go look it up, and at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs was safety and psychology. And safety, in his original paper, included financial security. Look it up. Look up Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Don't just look up Maslow, look up all the criticisms of it as well. Like, one of the key principles of freedom is security. If you can't secure the person, and if you're like having to spend your money because you're scared of saving it because you're going to be burglarized, then that actually puts you lower down on Maslow's hierarchy, right? So financial security, like people say like Techno-Leviathan, like we're colonialists. No, we're not. We're basically just sharing a scientific discovery that we've made here in the West with other people abroad because we think it's the decent, humane thing to do. That's our responsibility. We cannot help but be witnesses to the atrocities that happen abroad. We think we've got a technology and a scientific discovery here that can help these people. And if we fail to do so, we have to live with those consequences. If I die knowing that I could have done something to help these people and I chose not to, that's something I've got to live with, and I don't want to live with that. And so I think what we're doing here is really important, because we're doing the work that nobody else wants to do, because there's no obvious like monetization or ROI. But I'm greedy for a very different kind of progress and profit, or whatever you call it. I'm greedy for, you know, the glory,
Your
the
profit
future.
is helping other people.
Yeah, and feeling good about it and owning it and like inspiring other people to do the same. And
Well,
you know,
yeah, sorry. What else is good is you like want to be teaching other people stuff, and especially like me, I want to teach other people stuff. It's good teaching other people because you learn as well and stuff like that. No, it could help
yeah,
other
exactly.
kids as well. When I said the other day, kids of the future, they actually are, because if they learn programming, it's gonna be a good thing for the future and everything, like me and everyone.
That's right. And with the other thing we talked about when I came round to your place today, Ollie, the other thing I talked to you about was the importance of learning computer science from the ground up. There's a really good lecture at Stanford.
Input and outputs and all that stuff.
Yeah, the inputs and the outputs, learning how CPU works, learning how RAM works. Because a lot of, nowadays, IT training courses, ICT training in the UK, it only teaches students high-level stuff. It doesn't show them how it all works at the circuit board level, like, right, you know, this bit, the physics. And so, as a result, students are taught how to use user interfaces, and they're not taught how to use proper, you know, they're not taught assembly languages, they're not taught C++ or low-level languages. The reason Bitcoin is written in C++ is because it talks directly to the processor. It's like one abstraction away from the CPU. Really, really tight integration. And you wouldn't be able to get Bitcoin working on the ARM processors if it wasn't written in C++. Now, yes, that limits the number of developers that can contribute to the code. It's true. Java is a much popular language. It's used a lot more, so it would have attracted more developers. but it wouldn't have that tight level integration
But C++
if it weren't
is easier
C++.
because of the hardware. They're closest to hardware, and it's
Yeah,
so
but it's
it's a
harder
bit
to
like
code
assembly.
in. It's much harder to code in than Python.
Yeah,
Python's
it's
easier to read. Yeah.
it's not like Python. It's not like Python because Python is probably like one of the closest languages to English. But then C++
Yeah.
is one of the furthest languages from English.
Yeah. And so one of the things that I plan to do, if my health is okay and I'm feeling up to it, is to raise money for developers like Peter Todd and Gregory Maxwell and people like this to actually be able to teach courses to come on air with us. And if they, because like I heard an interview with Peter Todd recently, he said he charges $150 an hour. Well, Peter, if you're listening, $150 an hour, would you come on air with us for an hour and teach us something? So that we can get like a little classroom set up and we can just raise the money on Start Join or wherever, and then we can pay Peter Todd for an hour of his time to teach us some of these more advanced things. And so I think that would be a really exciting project, and I'd be happy to do it. I'd be happy to raise the money, especially for someone like Gregory Maxwell. I'd be really privileged to have him on a live stream. That would be really cool. So once we're up and running, we're a bit more comfortable with it. We expect Bitcoin, the latest version, to be released soon, TM. We can see, as I showed you from the GitHub, that the latest commits are basically release notes being put up, which would imply to me that we're pretty much good to go. Version 12 is now imminent, and it's much more efficient, it's much quicker. Once it is released, I will try to get OK Toshi on air with us. Now, OK Toshi wrote the Rock OS, which is his own sort of Bitcoin Fullnode software.
Yeah.
He doesn't make the hardware like I do, but he makes the software that you can download. And I've asked him if he would be kind enough to make us our own operating system. So if he is around and there's enough time, what's that?
Chris OS.
No. It would be like, I'd call it like Fullnode OS or whatever. I don't really care about the name. But yeah. So
Yeah,
I want to get OK Toshi on here, and I want him to talk us through how to create the operating system, because he's done a really good job with Rock OS. I've got Philippe working on some artwork as well. So once we pull all this together, and we've got Ralph the Ninja who's writing these bash scripts that help to automate the installation and all of this stuff, I think we're rocking. I'm going to release the images. I'm going to be obviously sending out full nodes, and the world is going to change. And then onwards, and I think the next stage 3, should begin roughly sometime around the end of March, because we'll be distributing these in March. And then in March we'll do stage 3. And so if you haven't already got your orders in for Bitcoin Fullnode, do not worry. We're up to nearly 70 units now with all of these, including the last batch. And then it will be stage 3 over in March. And as you can see, every day we're coming to you with updates. We've got a very diverse group of people. We've got people in India, we've got people in South America, Africa, as you can see, Northern Africa and Southern Africa regions. We've got people all over the world that are contributing to this project. So it really is a world crypto network. So, Janine, any questions from the troll box?
Nope, someone was just asking where they could get a Fullnode if they wanted to order one, but I gave them the information.
Yeah, so the next stage will be probably in about 3 weeks from now. We'll do the next stage as we're shipping the previous ones, and so that will include version 12 of Bitcoin, and and that'll be on Start Join as before. So, any final thoughts?
I'm gonna have a look, see if that thing's done anything. Still 7 days behind it. Oh, I've got a transaction. I got it. I got yours.
You got it. Let's show us on the screen then.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
Does it say, it says pending, yeah? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Right. 0.00. Would that wait until We'll have to wait.
Yeah,
till
you
7
won't be
days
able
before I get
to.
that or not?
You won't be able to spend it until it's synced because it needs the UTXO.
I think I'll be able to type on that command, see how much of my balance. I think it'll go. It'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
that
Try it
amount or
again.
not.
Try it again.
It may come up. No, I'll do it next tomorrow or something. We'll do the other one, sending money.
Yeah.
Maybe with Steve or someone.
One of the things you can do as well is you can just leave it running in the command line interface to log out the desktop, and that'll save you memory and
Yeah,
it'll be a bit quicker.
The version 0.12 doesn't have segregated witness, does it?
I don't believe so. No, that's something they're still working on. It does have the infamous RBF.
It's still saying 0 bitcoins. 0 satoshis.
But it's
okay.
Oh, probably because it hasn't been confirmed yet. That's why.
Yeah, I know.
So RBF is only in the command line. That's what it means when it says opt-in. So it's very unlikely. So in order to send an RBF, a request by feed transaction, you have to go into the command line, which obviously not very many people are going to be able to do. And then you've got to send it, right, like that. And you've got to mark it as an RBF so that you can do the respending if you want to. And it's basically a way of unsticking stuck transactions. But at the moment, the compromise that Vlad went with was because there were so many people against it, because they feared usability issues and merchants waiting a long time to get transactions. Vladimir decided to make it opt-in, command line only, which means that it's basically just going to be there for developers to experiment with until we've got a better user experience on the front end. And I think that was a correct decision or being considered. I'm not being paid by anyone to say that. I just looked at the information for myself and made an independent decision. I've spoken to Vlad maybe 3 sentences in total. He's very short and brief. I just said, look, I'm here to help, and he said thanks very much, but I just want to get my head down and code. And I was like, I totally respect that, and that's it. I'm not being paid by anybody. I'm not being paid by Adam Back. I'm not being fuck no, I wish I was, but I'm not. No, actually I'm being paid by you, and that helps to keep me honest, which helps you because what you need is the truth. Everyone does. So if I don't know where my money's coming from, and it's coming from all these different places, that helps me be an honest reporter, and I can bring you true, unbiased account, or biased only insofar as my own personal bias.
Plus, so you wouldn't want loads and loads and loads of money.
No, I don't think I would, because I think money tends to corrupt, and so I would probably just give it away. But yeah. I would find
how long does version 0.12 take to sync?
Well, it depends. Like on the headless node has been on for about 20 hours, and it's about halfway through now. But then I'd say halfway through, like it's halfway through the blockchain, like it's at block height 245,000, so it's a bit more than halfway through. The only problem is that when you get to like 2014-15, you start to get into all of the multi-sig transactions, which are much denser, and so that's going to take a long time to sync. So I expect it's going to take about 5 or 6 days on the ARM processor to sync, but compare that to the 4 weeks that it used to take. That's incredible. That's a massive enhancement, and especially now if we're expecting a new version of, I don't know if it'll be a Raspberry Pi, but there's going to be a new version with the ARM8 processor out with these single board computers, then we're really going to be cooking with gas now, and it'll be really, really fast.
Yeah.
Someone's also asking what a use case for RBF would be.
Okay, so the idea is that the problem in the past was that if you sent a transaction with a really low fee, it got stuck in the blockchain, and the only way you could replace it was by trying to double spend your own transaction, which would then mark you as it being double spent. RBF was originally in the version 0.1 of Bitcoin that Satoshi had implemented, but it was taken out because of a bug at the time. That bug has since been removed, and Peter Todd has suggested putting it back in so that transactions don't get stuck, or at least we have the ability to replace them by putting in an extra fee. So if a transaction is in the blockchain that still hasn't been confirmed, you can then say, right, I'll put an extra fee on it, and that will basically speed things up and get things through. It's not that simple though, because obviously you can see a scenario where merchants are now waiting, because you can't have zero confirmations with RBF. So at the moment, merchants are just accepting our zero conf, and they're saying, oh, it's fine, you know, they won't double spend. And anyway, we've got lots and lots of nodes on the network, so we'll find out if the second one has been sent. In practice, a lot of businesses aren't doing that. Peter Todd did a demonstration to prove that Coinbase were not listening out on the network, because he was able to swindle, you know, them by doing a double spend. And he said, look, the problem is, and Green Address have said this and been saying this since April last year, if everyone gets into this habit of relying on zero confirmations, you're opening up a huge attack vector, because what's going to happen is hackers in the future are just going to write scripts where they go into a coffee shop or they go to an MP3 website, they write a script which instantly double spends every transaction that they send. They're just going to write their own custom wallets that double spends everything they do, and they're just going to take their chances, sit behind a Tor or VPN, and they're just going to be ripping merchants off. And merchants there, oh yeah, zero conf is fine. So RBF is designed to combat that. And downsides are that if a merchant has got a screen with a QR code and it's got a 15-minute countdown timer and you've sent an RBF, it's going to time out. And if it times out and your transaction goes through like 16 minutes later, well, they still get the money, but you don't get the confirmation. So now you've got to email the merchant saying, oh, look, you know, I sent the money, but the timer ran out, because, you know, they've got to make sure that the dollar value is in sync. And so you've got issues like this. There is a solution to that, which is to upgrade BIP21, I believe, which is where you can basically put in a QR code that says RBF equals 0 at the end, which tells the wallet that's doing the transaction to not have it RBF if the merchant chooses. For me personally, I don't need confirmations, because there's such a delay between me shipping. If it doesn't go through, I just don't ship the device. But if it's something like a coffee shop, or if it's something like a website selling MP3s, and you're expecting an immediate download, obviously the user experience is impaired. And you've got companies like Coinbase that have sunk a lot of money into a business model that tries to streamline that process for merchants, and they're not happy with this puritanical approach, you know, with this sort of like, oh, Satoshi says, and this was always in the code, and so we should do this type of approach. But I think what the engineers are trying to build is something very different. What the Bitcoin Core are trying to build is something existentially very different to what Coinbase and Classic are trying to build. I think what Coinbase and Classic are trying to build is something much closer to like Visa, and something that is scalable, and something that is probably prone to centralization eventually. You're probably, you know, even Gavin Andreessen has gone on record as saying that proof of work is probably not going to be great in the long run. I think Mike Hearn also said that proof of stake is probably the way to go in the future for Bitcoin, is certainly an option for Bitcoin. So they're saying that, you know, the early adopters of Bitcoin are probably going to be disappointed. My personal view, as somebody with a lot of experience in startups and entrepreneur, is retention is key. And retention means keep the customers you've got, right? Slowly build your customer base, keep them loyal and passionate, and they love your products, and they want to evangelize and they want to tell other people about it. But rather than like focusing on acquisition and getting lots and lots of poor quality users, instead what you should do is just focus on the users that you do have, because they were the ones that got you here. So we've already got up to an exahash. Whatever we were doing so far, we were doing right. If we start diverging now and saying, oh look, well, we set up this business, and this business was, you know, was predicated on this, you know, being a quasi-centralized system, then really it's not Bitcoin anymore. It's like, okay, fine, Brian Armstrong, that's fine, but go make your own coin. He doesn't want to make his own coin. He can't, because he needs the hash rate, and he needs the popularity, he needs the brand name, he needs all of it. He doesn't just want the code base and the developers. He needs the whole package. He needs the stakeholders. And the problem is, it's like, oh, it's oligopolistic, it's autocratic, because it's like Bitcoin North Korea, and they're like despotism. And it's like, Vladimir never asked for power. He was given to it by Gavin Andreessen, and he didn't want it, and he struggled against it. He said, I don't want to be the core developer. So now he's been lumbered with the power, which is actually kind of a good leader to have. It's the ideal leader, somebody that's technically capable at their job, it doesn't really want that job. They're accusing it of being an autocracy, but then what's the state transition condition that they've set to go over to Classic? It's the hash rate. And who gets to decide the hash rate? All of the stakeholders? Users? Merchants? No. Miners. Miners are the ones. But that's like 5 different mining pools in the whole world. It's like the worst of both worlds. You've got the worst of democracy and you've got the worst of oligopoly. It's oligopolistic because it's just a small group of miners that get to decide. And it's a democracy because it's got this like 75% super majority. I mean, I don't care what you call it, super majority or super duper majority. The fact is, you're still using a method which is, you know, democratic in the same way. Whether it's 50% of the people that decide or a 75% assurance, it doesn't really matter. The point is, there are many, many stakeholders that are going to be affected by this outcome, and just leaving it to miners to decide by changing a line of code on their scripts. I mean, assuming they're educated enough to do that for a start, which not all of them are. Some of them are just purely profit mated. A lot of it's just cloud hashing, and they don't have any control over what their hash rate's doing, and so it's the mining pools that really decide where the hash is going. It's not been very well thought out, and it looks just like a power struggle. But like I said, it's not up to me to force people to use the fork that I think is best. I can be honest and just tell people what I think, but I think that my Fullnode project should give people the ability to decide which fork they want to be on. And so that's why I like what Magnus is doing with this bash scripting, so that people can just install whichever fork, whichever version they want to install. So I won't be able to offer Classic this time in this stage because there just isn't, I'm just not going to have time to do that. But in the future stages, yes, I will give people the ability to choose which version of Bitcoin they can do. And of course, it's open source, so if anyone wants to contribute, fullnode.protip.is, and you can also contact me at fullnode@protip.is as well if you want to get in touch and put in a pre-order for the next round. I can give you first dibs on when that's released. Okay, guys, that's a good show. Ollie, sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, it said someone said a minute ago that they wanted to know how long it would take. Well, it depends, because one block can take a couple of minutes. It depends. It's done 5 blocks in the whole live stream. How long has the live stream been on for? Maybe about half an hour or something? Maybe half an hour or something?
Yeah, half an hour.
About 5 or 6 blocks.
But that's also because you're also using the internet.
Yeah.
And you've got the GUI open, you've got the VNC open.
My dad's watching on the Xbox downstairs.
Yeah, so the only thing is that because you're using all your memory with like the user interface and the VNC and everything, that's going to slow Bitcoin down. So after we finish, just close Bitcoin QT, log out of the desktop, and then just run Bitcoin D in the command line. And that by tomorrow you'll have caught up with the blockchain.
Someone's also asking, do you know of a specific time when the halvening happens? I know it's 20 weeks away or something. And then I found this clock.
July. Yeah, it's July. Bitcoin clock. Yeah. Did you get the Bitcoin clock up and running?
Yeah. I put it in the chat.
Okay, great.
Bring it up. Show it on the screen or something.
So 20 weeks, 5 days, and 3 hours. Yeah, I can bring it up as well. It's fine. Yeah, so the halvening is going to happen in 20 weeks, 5 days, 3 hours. The price has gone up, I think, a bit recently. I think slightly to reflect that. But obviously, in the same time, we've also got all this confusion over, you know, what the fork and the future of the project's going to be. But my support is with Core because, like I say, they haven't sought the power. That power was bestowed upon them. It was aristocratic in its nature. Aristos means, you know, the right person to be in power. That was handed down the only way it could be handed down. You know, if you discover something and you're the first to find something, and then you want to pass it down to somebody else, there's no other way of doing it. You know, as Charlene points out, that's the same with any enterprise. We don't get to vote on who's the CTO or the CEO of Barclays Bank because we're not shareholders of Barclays Bank. It's a private members group. But the difference is that it's opt-in. Like Bitcoin, you're not forced to use Bitcoin. You use it if you want to. I think what's the problem it's causing for people is it's dividing people, and friendships are being lost, and people are falling out, and they're raging, and they're flaming each other on Twitter. There really is no need for us to descend into this kind of like bitter feud just because, okay, money's on the line and lifestyles are on the line, you know, certain lifestyles that you got used to because you've got some seed capital from some venture firm, and so you bought a nice place, and you know, you got out and you know, you had a nice lifestyle, and now that's going to be taken away from you. I understand the pain, I do get it, but I don't think it's worth losing friends over. I really don't. And so I'm all up for it. It's very interesting. It's all new territory. But it's open source, and I've said from the very beginning that Bitcoin's most important feature was that it was open source. It would have been so easy for Satoshi just to have made it proprietary, but he didn't. He made it open source, and so we have to live with that, and we have to learn as we go. We're building this plane on the way down, as the saying goes, and we just have to learn as things unfold. We don't know what's going to happen. We just have to embrace that uncertainty and learn to love it, because it's the only inevitable thing in the world. With that, I bid you goodbye for today, and we will see you tomorrow, and hopefully Ollie can show us some more commands in the Python library.
Peter.
Good job. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.